A simple answer to why Murder Mystery 2 is so boring would just be that Nick doesn't update the game. Okay, sure, but that's not all of it. Many people might not like that I find Murder Mystery 2 boring, which is fine, but just click off the video and save the mean comments. Before we begin, what is Murder Mystery 2? Murder Mystery 2, or MM2 for short, is a game where players in each round have 3 roles: innocent, sheriff, or murderer. If you are the murderer, you are trying to kill everybody in the server that is in the round within 3 minutes, or the innocents win. The innocent's job is to run away from the murderer and win the round. The sheriff's job is to shoot the murderer with the gun and save the innocents. There are special power-ups that can help the murderer with an advantage. This game has been around since January 18th, 2014. It was originally Murder Mystery or Murder Mystery 1. After various updates, it was then changed to Murder Mystery 2 and has stayed ever since. Although, as of right now, just under 100,000 people are playing the game. However, most of them are full of trollers and hackers, and it just makes the game not fun. Don't get me wrong, I love Murder Mystery 2. It was the first ever Roblox game I ever played, but it has gotten so boring and not interesting to play because the game is repetitive, and not a lot of updates occur to make the game different in any way. Sure, there are map updates and new knives and boxes coming out, but those happen once in a blue moon, and after every holiday event, it lingers around for about a month or even 2 before Nick changes the game back to what it was. People don't like the toxicity that the players have and don't want to deal with the trollers and teamers. If you look at YouTubers that still make videos on the game, most are made up of kid-friendly YouTubers going into private servers and having their fans join. The reason is, they don't want to deal with everything on a public server. For example, JD, a well-known Murder Mystery 2 YouTuber with 1.7 million subscribers, just posts videos where they are on a private server and playing with subscribers. Because honestly, nobody wants to see them go into a public server and get bombarded with hackers, teamers, trollers, campers, and beggars. It gets boring and annoying having to deal with these kinds of people every time you play the game. A game that has their players full of those kinds are often the games that bring in the kids wanting attention and doing all those things. These trolls would include hackers flying around or making themselves a role, teamers teaming with their friends or other people on the server to have them win every round, campers camping the gun when the sheriff dies so the innocents can't get the gun, people speed glitching, and people glitching out of the map. If you were a regular player going into the new game and seeing all of this, you wouldn't want to keep playing, right? No, most people wouldn't. And seeing these kinds of things happening every time, it gives it a bad rep and it shows what kind of game it's become. Will Nicholas do something about it? Most likely not. If he hasn't done something in 6+ years, I don't expect him to change something now. The game is getting players and is still one of the top games on a Discover page. Knowing all of that, why doesn't he update the game? From what he said, he wants to make the updates feel special and impactful and not so frequent like other games. He seems to favor the larger update that will have the most meaning behind it, rather than the smaller and minor updates that can make or break the game in the long run. Nick is also a human being too. He has other things to prioritize rather than tending to his game every single day. This slows down development in the game and shows the lack of updates that occur. Knowing that without updates, the game is still very popular, there isn't really any need for him to update the game every 2 weeks. He knows that players will still continue to come in, and he will still keep on getting visitors along with the 20 billion as recording. But maybe that's the problem. With him not tending to the game frequently, means more bugs and glitches in the game are gonna happen. The speed glitching and glitching out of the map haven't been tended to in over a year. Neither has the exploiters or scripters. It all makes sense though. If he's getting players on a daily basis, what is there to change? Why should he care if the game is still on the front page? If Murder Mystery 2 ends up falling apart, then I bet that he will actually do something to try and fix the game, like would most developers. The Murder Mystery team doesn't add new perks to the game to make it special in any way. The game is a completely grind-based game, and the cheapest coin box is 1,000 coins, which is equivalent to like 25 rounds. It takes time for people to grind and get godlies that, in my opinion, aren't very special in any other way than it being a cool design. The knives and guns don't give you any power-ups or anything useful other than what every other weapon does. It's a one-shot kill and you're dead. The only useful thing to buy in the game would be perks, but then again, those are only for the murderer and don't give other players an advantage of their own. Now some people might say I'm wrong, but the game is unbalanced with the special abilities because innocents and sheriffs don't get those perks. And if the murderer has the right one, it's actually very hard to survive a round with an experienced murderer. And that could also be why people glitch in the game. On top of that, the game is mostly pay to win. If you don't pay for a box, that's at least an hour of grinding just to get a box that you have a 0.1% chance or less to get a godly that, once again, doesn't add any sort of ability to the game itself. Sure, there are people who like to trade and collect, but there are so many scammers and liars that will lie about the value of a weapon to scam somebody out of their things. It's an unfair part of the game to newcomers that have no idea what's coming for them. Most of the updates are centered around skins and not on new gameplays. Speaking of the gameplay, it has had the same mechanics from all the way back when it was first created. It's the same thing over and over, round after round, and it gets boring to play. Introducing new game modes like Infection and Piggy for events were fun, but they only come around during the holidays. Instead, they should have them so it's a bonus round after every 3 rounds of playing. It would add to the game and give it more character. I know that if Murder Mystery 2 superfans will see this, then they will complain, but I used to play the game non-stop and I honestly used to be a superfan. But recently, after hitting max level, it has gotten so boring and annoying to play. Most of the veterans have turned into these kinds of players or have just given up on the game. People don't think about how slowly this game is declining, and sooner or later, if something doesn't change within the game, I think it'll fall off. But with that, I'm RexVex, and thanks for watching.